is grow your capacity. If there's one big thing that I have realized has been the major problem of those of us in diaspora, is that we leave our capacity at the level of where we were before we left Africa. We do not understand that you're in a new environment and you need to grow your capacity in this environment. And I'll give you an example. How many of you who are outside Nigeria, outside Africa generally, have done a financial training since you left Nigeria? You went for a class. It wasn't a degree. It was to teach you how to understand money, how to make, manage, and multiply money, how to understand the way money works in that city that you live in, whether it's UK, whether it's Canada, whether it's Netherlands, whether it's Dubai, whether it's US. If you've done that, type 1. If you've not done that, type 2. First step, okay? I want you to build money capacity. Capacity to be able to handle, to do what we call make, manage, and multiply money. You have to build that capacity. And the only way to do that is you need to read books on money. You need to go for seminars on money. Okay? And you need to get mentors who have been able to build wealth in this part of the world. You need to pay them to learn from them. Now, let me say this. My guest yesterday told you how he made it. And I remember he said he's written a book and the book is on Amazon. And everybody kept reaching out to me that they wanted to meet him. They wanted to meet him. And I'm like, what's going on with you guys? The man said he's written a book. The book is on Amazon. Why not just go type Upper Bound on Amazon and just buy the book? So this is, reiterating what people keep saying. You want to hide a thing from a black man, put it in a book. They will not read it. They will not. So everybody's shouting, I want to meet the man. I want to meet the man. Rather than going on YouTube, going on Amazon.com, type his name and buy the book where the man shared how to build wealth, even here in America. That is the attitude. Build capacity for wealth. And part of it is you need to buy money books. How many money books do you read in a year? A successful CEO, average successful CEO, read 50 books in a year. I've read more than 50 books this year. How many books have you read? And I'm not talking of novels. I'm not talking of romance and sex books. I'm talking about books on management, books on wealth, books on motivation, books on building system and businesses. Many times I do the audio version of the books because I'm always on the move. So I get the audio version on YouTube and I just listen to them and they've changed my life. You have to do the same. I myself have written 35 books. Okay? I have written 35 books. Number 2 thing you want to do if you really want to become a millionaire in this part of the world, you need to start buying asset instead of liability. Okay, can everybody type it? I want you to be typing the points. Number 2, buy asset instead of liability. I remember 3 years ago, I visited Houston. And, I was with this set of people. And it was a church that invited me to preach. And after the service, in Houston, I'm not talking in Nigeria, a church member had just bought a car. And incidentally, I knew that church member that she didn't even have a job. Okay? And the pastor came out and was anointing the car in Houston. Texas, Houston. I'm not talking Nigeria. My brain was spinning. What is there about a new car to anoint, first of all? Second of all, if I were to be a pastor, I probably would have given, a dirty slap, even though you can't do that, but a virtual dirty slap. Okay, with my words, I would have done that because I would have told her, why buy a car when you don't have a job and you're not trying to use the car for Uber? Your credit is in shambles. A car is not an asset, it's a liability. So who are you trying to impress? And everybody's still congratulating her for buying a car. But this is what we still do in this part of the world. Despite that, we're in America, this is still what we do. Right? We still bring the African mentality that we've been doing, okay, We still carry that attitude, we still carry that pattern into this part of the world. Even though we are in a setting where we should now know better, we should now do better. Now, I want everybody to type this quotable quote down. Rich people do what their mates are not doing today so that they can afford what their mates cannot afford tomorrow. Everybody, I want you to type it down. Come on, everybody, join me. Rich people do what their mates are not doing today so that they can afford what their mates cannot afford tomorrow. So today they do what their mates are not doing. Tomorrow they're able to afford what their mates cannot afford. They practice what we call delayed gratification. So when their mates are eating their tomorrow, okay, they decide to save. And a time comes where they can still afford, okay, what their mates can afford. Number 3 thing you want to do. Number 3 step. Number 1 step, grow capacity to manage, make, manage and multiply money. That's the first step. The second step, which is what we have just shared, buy asset instead of liability. Do what your mates are not doing right now. If your mates are doing parties, you decide to buy asset. Decide to invest in wealth. Decide to buy land. Decide to buy houses. Okay? Make sure you buy asset. Don't do liabilities. Don't join them in the nonsense they are doing. Okay? Finally, we're in America. Finally, we're in the UK. It's not an achievement. Being outside Africa is not an achievement. It's what you do with staying outside Africa that is important. Else, 20 years from now, you're even going to regret leaving Africa. Because some of those you left back at home are going to have a better life than yours if you're not careful. So there is no achievement in that you are living in the US. There is no achievement in that you are living in the UK. There is no achievement that you are living in Canada or Dubai. It is not an achievement. Wake up and face that reality. It's not an achievement. The achievement is what you do with your stay here. The achievement is how you're able to convert the opportunities that you have here. That this is the land of the free. And you don't need to know somebody. And you can get started. You can empower yourself. But again, it's your choice. Right? So if you're ready for number 3, type I'm ready. Number 3, type I'm ready, I'm ready. Invest in knowledge before you put money into anything that can ever help you make money. Once they tell you about this, you can start building wealth. Vow that you ain't going to put your money into anything until the knowledge comes first. Bitcoin, went crazy in 2017. And everybody was on my neck. Mr. Steven, how Bitcoin is big. And I remember I read everything I could find on Bitcoin. And I was convinced that it's the future of money. But I still didn't invest in Bitcoin until I met a mentor that I was able to strike a deal. Let me tell you how you know you have met a mentor. You've been able to strike a deal of you are going to give something in exchange for their time. Don't ever, some of you always shout, I'm your mentor. I'm not your mentor. I could be called your role model. If you are not going through either a Stephen Akita University or you've signed up for the Stephen Akita mentorship program, I'm not your mentor. I'm just a role model, somebody that you're patterning after and that you're learning from. But it's not a mentor, because a real mentor, you are supposed to go through a program of that mentor, or you're supposed to have some level of access to that mentor. So what happened oftentimes, right, is that people refuse to invest in knowledge. And so for me, I did that. I read everything I could read about Bitcoin. And I said to everybody disturbed me, I said, I'm not going to put 1 kobo into Bitcoin until I get a mentor. Somebody who is successful in Bitcoin, who I have been able to strike a deal for the person to mentor me. So I finally got somebody. We strike a win-win relationship. It has to be win-win. I was able to create what I was going to be doing for him. In exchange, he was willing to show me the ropes. I invested in Bitcoin. I didn't just make money. Every of my students who are in my coaching program made money and didn't lose money in Bitcoin. In fact, not just that, the shocking part about what happened was one of my students in Dubai, after buying my video course, put in just $1,000 into Bitcoin. And in 7 months, he turned $1,000 to $100,000 US in 8 months. with an initial capital of $1,000, just $1,000. So, but I would have lost money. I would have also lost the money of people who want me to be their mentor if I didn't get a mentor first. If I didn't go for seminar and trainings and read everything I could find on Bitcoin. And this is where many of you make mistakes. So they tell you that Bitcoin is where money is. You say, yeah, you go and put your money there without doing a training. They tell you Forex, you can make money from Forex. You go and put all your money. You even carry your family savings, you carry all your relatives' money, you go and put it there. And then you lose the money and then you claim everybody's wicked. You were the ones that were foolish by your actions. You were not wise in the actions that you took. So stop the culture of throwing money at things. You don't get rich by throwing money at things. You get rich as a result of knowledge that you've acquired, even though that will cost you money. Then you become wealthier by implementing the knowledge that you've acquired. Number 4 is invest in knowledge before you put in money. So when you hear that there's an opportunity to make money in anything, either it's a business or it's an investment, don't put money in that business or investment yet. Put money rather in learning how that business works. Put money rather in buying books about that business. Put money rather in attending seminars about that business. Put money rather in paying somebody to coach you who is already successful in that business, to coach you how you too can be successful in that business. That is where your money is supposed to go. But many of us, we do reverse. So when they say there's an opportunity to make money, you quickly go and throw all your money there, rather than first getting the knowledge that is required first. So if you're ready for number 5, type I'm ready. Number 5, stop, okay, and this is very, very important. Stop wasting money. Stop wasting money. Many of you are supposed to have been given PhD in money waste. I'm not kidding you. And I'll break down how many of you are wasting money. How many of you know that most of the money of Africans in diaspora goes into funding the useless and wasteful lifestyle of their relatives back at home? If you agree, type I agree. Let me say that again. How many of you know that more than 70% of Africans in diaspora spend most of their money funding the wasteful lifestyle of their relatives back at home? So your cousin says he wants to do wedding, okay? And then, of course, you are the one in the UK now. You're the one in the Canada. You're the one in the US, right? So you say, yeah, big uncle, big auntie. How about you? No problem. Things are a bit tough, but I'm going to send you $2,000. But I'm going to send you $5,000. I'm going to send you $10,000. Wasteful rubbish. And then you want to build wealth that way. Right? I met this guy in Dubai. He came, I was playing golf, and he came for my seminar, and I just hosted him while playing golf. And he was telling me he's been in Dubai for 3 years washing cars. And all the money he's made, he's had to send it to his uncle. Because the uncle is always calling him on needing emergency money. He said, oh, I'm sick, send me money else I will die. And I said, Daddy, your uncle find it somewhere. I said, what do you mean? Everybody's insulting me that I have relatives, in Dubai. And I'm living this kind of wretched, poor life. And I'm like, so 3 years earnings, you've given it to a wasteful uncle who probably is marrying the 4th wives. Okay? I'm just wasting it. Who does that? Are you bewitched? Is it like there was a voodoo done on you to continue that culture? What happened? How did you get into doing that? You keep throwing your money back. That is waste, and God will never reward waste. It doesn't reward waste. You can't build wealth. It's 6 years now. I cannot remember going, in 6 years, I only wore one Ashwebi, one. It was for a burial of somebody who was my assistant, and the man has been a great man for me. It was once, right? I don't do that. I'd rather even give you some money to support you if it's needed, if and reasonable, moderate. But many of you, you are $20 an hour. You're either driving Uber here, or you're doing a logistic job, or you're a security man somewhere. And then you want to be proving to them back at home in Africa that you've arrived. And all your hard-earned money, you are giving it to uncles and nephews and in-laws to waste on their own extravagant cultures. Over somebody's wedding, over one great burial, over one in-law, uncle, cousin. And that's how you've wasted money. And then you're wondering what you've done with your 5 years in the UK, your 10 years in the US, your 20 years in... I don't get it. Exactly. Christmas coming, Christmas party. Things that just don't make sense. And you wonder why you're poor. God can never reward waste. God doesn't do that. It's just in his nature. He will never bless you. I tell my people, all our top management in our office, when our income start going down, I always call for a management meeting. I'll tell them, I say, there's a waste somewhere. I may not know where the waste is, but we are wasting money somewhere. And they will say, sir, no, it's due to economy. I said, don't tell me economy. My business has always flourished in bad economy. So it's never the economy. We must be wasting money somewhere. And usually, a lot of time we downsize. We look at some people who are probably in the system collecting salary and they are not doing anything. And guess what happened? The following month, with lesser number of people working, the sales goes up. And I say, you see, I told you. Go anytime I see my income go down, I check my life. I'm wasting money somewhere. I'm wasting money. I do calculations. I check what I'm putting my money into. I'm wasting money somewhere. God does not reward waste. God does not reward waste. It's just the rule. So when you say, oh, I'm poor, and today you see me able to afford certain lifestyle, it was because I blocked certain waste in a certain part of my life. And then today, I have now come to a point where those things are no longer waste. I could afford them, over afford them today, right? I wouldn't even know that I've spent money. And that's how you want to do and live your life. Come on, guys. If you're enjoying this type, I'm enjoying this. I'm learning. I'm enjoying. So that's number 5. Number 6, if you're ready for number 6, type, I'm ready. Come on, guys. Talk to me. If you're ready for number 6, type, I'm ready. Number 6, type, I'm ready. Remember to share this video 10 times on Facebook, on WhatsApp, on LinkedIn. Click on the Facebook party icon on your right-hand side. Invite all your friends. Listen to me. All those groups where you guys talk rubbish, this is the kind of message you need to give them right now. Okay? This is the kind of message you need to post on all those groups. I say, guys, come listen to this because it's going to change your life. Because Africans gossip too much. Let me tell you this. I have met several wealthy people in my life. I am yet to meet a rich man that is a gossiper. Let me repeat that again in case you didn't get it. I have met several wealthy people in my life. Several wealthy, billionaires, even in dollars. The other day, I flew all the way from Nigeria to meet Damien John. Damien John has done over $6 billion in transaction. He's the founder of Fubu. I have met wealthy people in my life, ladies and gentlemen. But I'm yet to meet one gossiper, one rich gossiper I've not met. In fact, if you are currently poor, I can assure you, if you be sincere with yourself, if you be humble and just be sincere and not be proud, if you check your life, you realize that there's too much gossip, that there's so much time being created to gossip. My wife always say this to me humorously, say, honey, you are not sweet to gossip with. Right? I ain't just get that time. I just, social person is like this, is like that. Oh God, I get my own too. I'm not perfect. So why do I want to sit down and do a 2, 3 hour, 4 hour gossip about somebody's imperfection? I'm not perfect myself. I'm praying to God to help me to be a better person, right? So why will I sit down and start talking about somebody's imperfection? Is one of the things you need to get out. Maybe one of these days I will do a series, okay, on characters of billionaires. Characters of billionaires. One of it is they don't know how to gossip, right? Face issues, go head on with it. Come on, guys. Are you ready for number 6? If you're ready for number 6, type, I'm ready. Come on. I love call and response. I love you to engage me. I love my classes to be very interactive. How to make your first $1 million outside Africa. If you're ready for number 6, type I'm ready, I'm ready, I'm ready. Number 6, build wealthy friends. Build wealthy friends. Build wealthy friends. Why must you build wealthy friends? Why? The reason is because 2 poor people cannot help themselves. One must first get to the top and throw the ladder to help the other person. If I always put it this way, if you truly care about poor people, you're going to work hard to become rich so that you can help poor people. October, I just finished paying school fees of 50 orphans, right? Christmas, we're going to be visiting orphanage homes. Even though I'm not in Nigeria, my team are going to be visiting orphanage home. We're going to sell relief material to an IDP camp in Maiduguri, and you know, providing food and support for the needy, right? Running to millions. This year alone, we spent almost 20 million helping either Ajegunle program. You can Google it; they're all online. Okay, or orphanage homes or IDP camp. Over 20 million naira already in donations. You know, this year alone, right? I could only do that because I have the money. 2 poor people cannot help themselves. If you care about poor people, you're going to become rich so that you can be in a position to help them. That's one of the reasons why we work hard to become rich. So, thinking that you want to live a life, okay, of poverty, and that poverty please God, and it doesn't please God anyway, right? Being poor doesn't please God. Because what poverty makes you do, how poverty makes you think, is barbaric. Why is it that it's poor countries that there's war, there's famine, there is fight, there is all manner of unrest? Look at what's going on in Nigeria, Togo. Look at what's going on in other African countries. Sudan. The more the poverty, right? The more the unrest, the more the terrorism. Terrorism and poverty go hand in hand. War and terrorism and poverty go hand in hand. Okay? Economic crisis, right? Always breed criminality. Look at banditry in the northern part of Nigeria. Poverty does not glorify God. So you can't tell me that. Does not make God happy. You cannot please God by being poor. You cannot make God happy by being poor. You may not like it, but it's the fact. And until you wash your mind of those mindset that poverty in any way help anybody, no poor person is helping anybody. If you are poor, you can't even help your fellow poor person. So who are you helping with your poverty? How is your poverty changing the world? If you're poor, you can't even help yourself. Talk less of helping your fellow poor person. So you want to make sure you start, and that's number 6, right? Build wealthy friends. Build wealthy friends, because how to become rich, poor friends can't teach you how. Rather than build wealthy friends, you know what you do? You gossip about rich friends. Oh, see how they talk. Have you checked his world? He just said he's on vacation. He's trying to show off. When you get your own money, choose not to show off. Why waste a whole 1 hour gossiping about your rich friends and about what that friend said about their vacation? It doesn't make any sense. Somebody would tell me, you know, Mr. Steven, rich people don't like to help people. Well, you've become rich. When you become rich, use your own money to help people. But don't gossip because you do not attract what you despise. So if you hate your rich friends, how then can you become rich? Because there's something called law of attraction. You are attracting to your life people, situations, circumstances that correlate with your dominant thought. So you will attract people that is in line with your visions and your aspiration. So if you hate rich friends, if you gossip about rich friends, how can you become rich yourself? It doesn't work that way. So what I did is when I was poor and I decided to start having rich friends. I remember the year I made up my mind, I'm going to make friends with 7 millionaires was the year I became a millionaire. This was 2008. Okay? The year I became a billionaire in asset was 2016, 2017. And that year I made up my mind. The friends I'm going to keep that year were billionaires. And I became a billionaire in my Nigerian currency. And for me, what did I do? I had to tell myself, all these my rich billionaires that I want to be friends with, it will be difficult to be their friends, because when they are discussing their realities, it will look as if they are trying to brag. So I'm going to work on my self-esteem, not to feel irritated by their talks. And that was exactly what happened. I will give you one instance. I had a dinner one of those days, and I invited 2 of them. And they came for the dinner. I just moved into a new apartment. And it was the beginning of the year, it was January. And I remember, in fact, the word was almost coming out of my mouth that, this January is tough. I know if you always say that. I know if you always say January is tough. Money is scarce in January. Come on, if you always say that type, I always say it. I always say, come on, everybody, engage me. I need your engagement here. I know if you always say that. Like in January, you just be like, things are very tough. More. Finances are very difficult. January is always long, and things are very difficult and all of that. I mean, if you always say that. Now, I was about saying it because one of the things that we have to change, that's why I said build wealthy friends. One of the things wealthy friends will change for you is your tongue. And remember, the Bible says death and life are in the power of the tongue. You are poor because you keep talking poverty. You become rich when you start talking wealth, when you start speaking wealth, your tongue has to change. And what your friends will help you do is that they will begin to help you change your tongue. So the word was almost coming out of my mouth. January, things are tough. I guess what happened? One of these billionaire friends said, good news. I said, what happened? He said, you won't believe it. We just got 2 contract because he's into construction. And he said the first one is 3.5 billion naira. He said the other one is 4.5 billion naira. He said, in fact, a lot that blows the phone is what I received this January. He said, because many of them mobilized me. One mobilized me with about 700 million. The other mobilized me with about 400 million. Now, of course, what did you think I now said? I swallowed all my statement that I wanted to say things were difficult in January. In fact, I had to join him in the song that, this January, me too, I'm working on something. By the grace of God, this will be a good January. And can I shock you? That was the last January that things were ever difficult for me. I'm not kidding you. It was the last. And it was just by just being in the company of the right people. Because why do many of you fail even when you go into business? You are an employee. All your friends are employees. You go and start a business. And remember, even before you started that business, you confided in all your employees, your friends who are employees. By the way, why do you want employees to encourage you to start a business? They're going to encourage you. If they think business, they will have started it before you. So it doesn't even make sense to me where you choose to start a business and the first set of people you go and tell to give you counsel is people who have never started business in their life. It doesn't make sense to me. Many of you do it when it comes to property investment. You want to buy a land in Nigeria. The first set of people you call are those your friends who have always even told you to be careful buying land in Nigeria or buying land in Ghana or buying land in Sierra Leone. And yet, one day later, you're going to say Chinese have taken over Africa. Chinese are buying properties like no man business. I am from Nigeria. If you know how much Chinese people have bought property, in fact, right now, 2 out of every 10 properties I want to buy in Lagos is owned by a foreigner. I'm not kidding you. Because we are always buying properties. 2 out of every 10 properties. When I do the research, some of them do it in the company name. I will eventually realize that it's a foreigner that owns it. Yet you are sitting in the UK, in the US, in Canada, and you're shouting, hey, Nigeria is finished. What do you think about the economy? Oh, I think that country is messed up. Continue. One day, a government policy like Trump will come and chase everybody out. And that's when you start playing victim and start praying and fasting, hoping Trump loses the election. Okay? But the reality is, why be a victim? Why be a victim? Why? Build wealthy friends. Let them show you how. When you go into trouble in your business, because they have also been there, they will encourage you. But when all your friends are poor people, guess what they're going to do? They will mock you. They will tell you, I told you not to go into that business. I told you not to invest. You thought you were better than all of us. Me, I've decided to live my low life. I've decided to live my nobody life. You want to change that approach. Two poor people can't help themselves. You want to make your first $1 million outside Africa, you need to get millionaires as friends. They may not be Nigerians, they may not be Sierra Leoneans, they may not be Ghanaians, they may not even be Africans. Some of them may be white people, some of them may be Chinese people. You want to first be their friends. They will help you, they will open you up, they will help you change your mindset. They will take away all those, limiting mindset that you came from Africa with to this part of the world. They will open you up to the secrets of how they made their own millions in this part of the world. Besides, it's their country, so they know it better than anybody else. But many of you will come to the US, you come to the UK, and guess what you do? You even do not want to make friends with Westerners. You say they are racist. The first place you are looking for is Igbo Association of Baltimore, right? Oduduwa Association of Maryland, right? Arewa Association of New York. Oh, what a nonsense. What a nonsense. Nobody builds wealth by being nepotic. Rich people are never nepotic. With all the Trump is telling you, I was in Trump Tower, I guess those I saw there, black people working for Donald Trump. Whether you are black or yellow or green, if you can add value to Donald Trump, you think he's not going to be your friend? Some of the top campaign managers for Donald Trump in the current election he lost were black people, in case you don't know. If you are learning, type I'm learning. So number 6, build wealthy friends. Okay, because even when you go into trouble in your business and whatever you do, at least your wealthy friends can come to the rescue. Come on. If you are blessed, type I'm blessed. Everybody, come on, engage me. Engage me. If you are blessed, type I'm blessed. Are you ready for number 7? Study money and understand how to make, manage, and multiply it. You need to become a money student. I want everybody to type it. I vow to become a money student. Everybody type it. I vow to become a money student. So number 7, study and understand how to make, manage, and multiply money. Many of you keep shouting you're poor. Many of you keep shouting you don't like your financial status. But yet, you don't study money. You have no books on money. You have attended no seminar on money. You have no money mentor. Nobody is mentoring you on how to become rich. Right? In fact, if you have anybody who is mentoring you how to become rich, they are even either people who are as poor as you are, or people who are poorer than you. How many of you agree with me? If you agree, type I agree. That's what we do. When many of us even want to get money advice, we go meet people who are either poorer than we are or who are as poor as we are. Those are the people who mentor you. Rather than going to meet people who have the results, I tell people, if you want to learn something, you must go meet the person who has succeeded at it. You can end up doing your own in a different way, but that's how it works. Nobody has ever become an American president without having a political mentor. There's no one. This election, who was the mentor of Joe Biden to win this election? Who can tell me? Who was his mentor? Okay, who was his mentor? Who was the mentor of Joe Biden that helped him to win this election? I want you guys to type it. We're in America, so let's talk about American politics a bit. Who was the mentor of Joe Biden to win this election? There has never been an American president that didn't have a political mentor. Not one. Okay, when you look at Obama, Obama was mentored by Clinton. In fact, there were pictures of how Obama used to hold Clinton's coat, right? Or, for him. He was like his boy. Okay, everybody becomes successful because they have somebody who has succeeded ahead of them, who is now showing them this is how to get it done. Thank you, Obama, of course. Guys, I gotta go. I love you all. Love you. God bless.